Hey,
Hey,
there we go.
there it
Figured
is.
out how to get off mute.
Yeah, whatever. We'll give it another couple minutes here. Let me pull up my slides so there's no delays. Let's see. It should be this screen here. Hey, Dylan.
Hey.
And I should start the recording. I remembered.
I already got it.
Oh, you started it. Oh. I didn't know that you could anyone can go start the recording, huh?
I think maybe only me. I don't know, though.
Oh, because you're maybe you're in the machine.
I'm in the inner circle.
You're in the inner circle. I have a client where we have an inner circle, and he had an inner circle email earlier this morning that, it's kind of like Fight Club. The first rule of the inner circle is no one is to know about the inner circle.
No one shall know.
So anyways, okay. Well, it's 12:01. Welcome everyone to CI Mastermind Live. Thank you for joining on this wonderful September day. Let me go through my regular stuff. I actually have quite a bit I want to get through, and I don't want to steal time from Scott, so I might move a little bit fast here. This session is being recorded. We like to use little bits of this in our marketing materials. Just want to make you aware of that. We love seeing your face. Scott is a very interactive presenter, and he's going to want to see you. He's probably going to pick one or two people and dive real deep in. I love when he does it. You're going to love it and get a lot out of it. So turn your cameras on for us, please. Use the chat to share who you are, where you work. If you're in transition and you're looking for something, tell people about it. Use it to ask questions. I like when we have an active chat. I think that's a helpful way to keep the conversation rolling. I'm doing my introduction. You're experiencing that right now. Scott will introduce his topic, and then he will dive into group discussion from there. You are at CI Mastermind Live. These are monthly discussions with other CI professionals. We facilitate them. It is discussion more so than anything else. We do brief learning, and then we try and fix a real problem, something that you're actually facing, so you can leave these sessions and go, oh, that was cool because someone actually helped me fix something. So we focus on real-time challenges, and we try and rotate around. It's a short session, so it's usually only one or two or maybe three people that are able to, get their thing out. But everyone benefits because when you listen to someone else's problem, you can go, oh, that's kind of like the thing that I'm facing too. And you'll get something out of that. Simple rules. Please respect each other. We're all professionals on this call. Help each other. Help each other solve problems. That's the idea here. Recognize that we will use this in marketing, and not to mention there's a whole bunch of people on here that you probably don't know that well. So think about what you're going to say before you say it. Don't share anything that shouldn't be made public. I have an 8-week Kaizen training program, 5 training sessions over the course of 8 weeks. They are 2 hours. We deliver it via Teams. We utilize the Chalmers Street CI Mastermind platform tool, and we drive teams, typically company teams of like 3 to 4 people, through an A3 problem-solving project. We've been doing this with the Valley Industrial Association out here in the western suburbs of Chicago for 3 years now. It's been very popular, so I am making it available to anyone. And so I'm looking for folks that might be interested, maybe from your companies or people that might be interested. And typically we run, I think last year's group, we had 7 teams. Each team had 3 to 4 people, and we charge per team, not per person. So it's $2,000 per team. So think about getting a project done for $2,000. That's a pretty awesome deal. So again, that is now going to be made available. I don't have dates yet because I want to gauge interest. And so I just encourage you, think about it, talk to people, and reach out to me with any interest that you have. Okay. All right. I want to engage in no more than 5 minutes of discussion here. Chris and I, probably in October, we're going to kind of sit back and go, okay, what did we like? What do we want to improve about the CI Mastermind live program? It's our own retrospective. We take continuous improvement seriously. And so we're looking for feedback. I may send out a survey or something to you all just to get some feedback, like things that we're thinking about changing or adding. Building a 6-month agenda. We've heard a couple times, like people say, well, I can't attend this month, but I'd really like to attend the next one. And I believe if they could sign up, they would. And so if we put a 6-month agenda out there and make it possible to register in advance, I think that might be beneficial. We're talking about refreshing the landing page and taking some cross sections from these CI Mastermind meetings and putting it up on there, as well as advertising the schedule on the landing page. I've had some input that our registration process is clunky. I think that might be because our registration process is clunky. And so I've heard that people don't always like to log into a Google form and so on and so forth. So I don't know, talking about maybe changing that as well. And then we've thought about maybe adding some new points of content, maybe doing like a CI win of the week that we send out to people, or some prompts during the month, like tell us of waste that you addressed this month. We've talked about maybe creating a badge on LinkedIn for CI Mastermind Live, and some of the other things here. So I want to pause. If you could reflect on these, I'd love to hear your feedback. Is there anything here that jumps out to you like, yeah, Matt, you guys should definitely go do this, or that is really a terrible idea. Don't do it. Like we don't want to hear from you more than once a month. I'd like to hear your thoughts now.
I like the prompts during the month. Tell us where you see a waste you wish to eliminate, because even if it doesn't directly apply to me, it could stimulate ideas of where I can help us eliminate waste. So I like that one.
Very good. And I see Sydney nodding as well. Other thoughts? Tim?
Yeah, new kid on the block, so my opinion only carries a little bit this much. But I love the 6-month agenda so that you can register in advance. You know, all of our schedules are busy. We're all busy, and having that in advance, I can block it off, make sure I'm going to be here.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Thank you, Tim.
I also think having the agenda would help, like, prepare any kind of questions or notes, you know, on things that we may want to specifically talk about. So.
And that's great. That's a great point, because that's what we're actually trying to do, is to have you thinking a little bit before you come in. That drives the discussion. Other comments? So quiet out there. I know that Dylan's eating, so I'm not going to pick on him. I can see Emily wants to say something, but she's not sure exactly what. But if I keep talking about her, she'll probably come off mute.
Oh, Matt, you know me too well. I think with the registration process, I mean, I don't disagree. It's clunky. I think we're all in agreement there. I would love, like, the question you tend to ask for the topics. I would love to, my problem is, like, I open the registration form, I see the question. I really need to think about the question for probably more than the time I have in the moment to register. So I'd love that question, like, pre-registration, because then I forget to go back and finish registering. And then I don't have the meeting on my calendar. So there's great. That would be my biggest pet peeve with the registration process.
That's a really good, that's a good insight, and I see a lot of nodding heads. Do you see why I picked on you, Emily?
Fair
enough. Okay, that's good. So there might be more input, and certainly, you know, there's a whole bunch of other folks that I'd like to chat with. I'll probably bring this up again next month just for a little discussion, because we're going to use a couple months to kind of think about this. But this is great. Let's go ahead then and first talk about Look at this. I just went through these slides before this call.
Good email about Byron. I didn't know he was getting his paperwork done and might be able to hand nothing on phone.
Oh, I think somebody is
already talked to
Victor. I think I'll get you. Yeah, thank you. October.
I would like to be only 1725. I can put it weekend. Yeah.
There we go. October. I'll send the date out afterwards. It's the last Thursday of October. We have the Power of Continuous Improvement Board, building a company of problem solvers. This is Edge Cobble. Many of you have probably seen Edge on our calls. He is a regular. This is something he uses at all the companies that he works at. And so he's going to talk about it if you're not familiar with what it is. But he's going to ask, we'll ask some questions about, how you get improvement front and center and get people engaged. So it's really about engaging, building problem solvers. So I hope you will all attend in October, and that will come out after this call. All right, enough of me. I would like to hand the center over to Scott. Scott, if you could introduce your topic, and then we'll start to engage with everyone on the call.
Yep. There we go. I'm looking how to share my screen. Is it showing that chat box too?
It is.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing then, and I'm going to share a window. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Hey, everyone. Scott Herbst, founder, president, whatever, of SixFlex Training and Consulting. The Ph.D. is in behavioral psychology. BCBA, I should have taken that out. It means board certified behavior analyst. It's not relevant for this discussion. I'm going to move a little bit quick because I do want to actually get into like what's really practical here. Here's what we do is I am really fascinated by what it is to be a human being. And so really what I'm up to is leveraging what I think it is to be a human being so that people do a couple things. One, actually get done what they care about getting done. But two, do so with more fulfillment, more satisfaction, more peace of mind, freedom, affinity, relationship, etc. So, and that's really what today is about. So, we're going to get into breaking unworkable patterns. Before we get into that, you can start thinking about, I know it asked you in the registration to think about some unworkable patterns you have, either things you keep doing that don't really serve you, conversations you keep having that aren't getting the results you want. Be thinking of one of those. And we're going to start with the basics of reinforcement. And we're going to make this really simple. In my world, as a behavior analyst, most of what we do is a function of like things we get or get rid of. And the gets we call positive reinforcements, and it's just like getting something you like, whether it's connecting with someone, food, money, fun, etc. And here's the thing about positive reinforcement. It's happy, it feels good, and it's fun. And it promotes more responding. Like, think of games that have you press a button fast and you're like, okay, hungry, hungry hippos, get more marbles. Press that thing as fast as you can, right? Promotes more responding to a point, like you get tired, you get full, etc., you quit. But generally it's got that like, I want more, along with the happy and the fun. And then there's negative reinforcement, which I usually just use the term gets rid of, because the whole negative reinforcement's a lot of syllables, it confuses people, but it's really getting rid of something that you don't like, but in a way that will have you do that thing over and over again. Here's the thing. Negative reinforcement is a drag because you got to deal with something you don't like. It's stressful, and it actually promotes just enough responding, like just enough to get rid of that thing you don't like. You can think of, how many of you ever go to the dentist? Yeah, how many of you like go to the dentist as little as possible to like avoid bigger problems, right? No one's like, you know what? I had a good year. I'm going to go to the dentist every month. No, it's like, I just want to do enough so my gums don't bleed and I don't have to get root canals. Speeding's kind of the same way. It's all about like, don't get a ticket, keep the police away. So you tend to hover around the speed limit versus like do extra credit and drive 30 in the 45. Okay. And note, like when you're getting things, it's fun. Payday is fun. And when you're in that speed trap zone where you know police are around, it's a drag. You're kind of on edge. Now, so that, by the way, applies to all animals. What I just said there pretty much applies to all animals. Then there's human beings. And what makes human beings is that we have language. And from our approach, that's really what makes people people, is that you and I speak with meaning and hear with understanding. And what that does is it lets us experience faraway things, whether it's in the past or the future, right now. So, you have a bad memory of like something that happened 20 years ago and you might cringe a little bit, like when you did something embarrassing. Or you might imagine like, oh my God, that thing I have to like, or I don't know, next week is the dentist. All right. And you're like, I haven't really been flossing my teeth. And you might start feeling a little bit like, ugh, right now. Okay. And our experience now has a lot to do with how we act right now. And that's just it. Okay. So two things. We'll love to get positive reinforcers, work to get away from things we don't like. And through language, we can experience either things we like or don't like that are far away, past or future, right now. And that'll change our behavior right now. So we're going to now we're going to get into the habit reversal. And sorry, I'm not so used to Teams. So I kind of lost. Oh, there we are. So I want you to pick a habit worthy of reversing. And again, you keep having the same conversation that isn't getting you, see, Matt, you're not the only one who has typos. I have incomplete sentences. You keep having the same conversation that isn't getting you anywhere, or isn't getting you what you want. Or you keep engaging in the same unworkable patterns. Okay. I actually dealt with one today where I'm about 15 or 20 pounds heavier than I'd like to be. And my pattern is like Saturday, Sunday, I do good. I'm like, all right, starting over, eating salad, counting calories. Monday, I do good. Tuesday, I make it a cheat day. And then it turns into a cheat rest of the week. And then I start over again, right? Unworkable pattern. We're going to do a little language work. And what we want to do is actually, we talked about fun, right? Positive reinforcers are fun. So I want you to start looking at, well, okay, what is the fun behind this thing that's not working? And it might not be immediately obvious to you, because what's probably immediate obvious is like, oh my God, I like so out of shape and I can't even go jogging. It hurts too much, or like that person's a jerk and I just can't stand talking. What's immediately there is probably that. However, what has that be a complaint? Just consider is that there's something you really care about, and that what you really care about actually kind of matters and is kind of like something you want more of. All right. So we're going to do a little exercise to get in touch with this. By the way, I want to do this right now because we're gonna move through this pretty quick. And what I recommend is practice with this and practice and practice. And so I'm putting a form in the chat right now. Go ahead and click that. Click that. One of the things I'll ask for is feedback, but there's also some options. And if you're interested in the slides for today, you just click the slides option. And then, of course, if you want to be in my mailing list, you can be on my mailing list. I've got stuff to tell you too. If you're interested in that, click that box. So we're going to drill up to why you care about this issue. So I want you to ask if this were complete. And by the way, is anyone willing to come off mute and share what their issue is? And I'd actually love if it would be like I keep having this issue with my team or another person, like something that involves other people, and isn't you just saying like, oh, I'm going to get up 38 minutes earlier and exercise every day. So who will come off and share? I promise it will be valuable for you.
I could share.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the reason it's been a minute since I've been a little busy, so this is my first CI Mastermind in a couple months. But when I
Awesome.
saw,
Hey.
yeah, when I saw the headline, I was like, yeah, this is awesome, super applicable to something that I've been dealing with at work. So, when you were talking about something you really care about, even though there's like the negative piece that's
Yeah.
on the surface, that's something that really struck me in this because there's a senior leader that is like the senior leader for the team that I work with, or that I work for at work, I should say. And a bit of a difficult personality, as well as just somebody that's kind of hard to no matter how much reinforcement or question asking or prompting you do to do, some level of a basic task to like a more complex project, whatever it may be, there's always this friction with this person. And I'm not the only one that has felt this. Like, coworkers of mine we've all commiserated a bit.
Yeah,
'Cause it's just,
awesome. Dylan, we're gonna break this down,
yeah,
and everyone, first acknowledge Dylan because Dylan's doing the heavy lifting here. So I'm gonna work with Dylan. You just apply everything I ask him to your issue so that you can get it clear for yourself. Okay. So Dylan, this is great. This is awesome because you can hear the pattern there, right? Like, so one of the things that shows up in the pattern is this feeling of tension,
yep,
right?
yep,
And so that's like your personal feeling.
yeah,
But another thing that I can hear shows up in the pattern is that you talk to your colleagues about it, or your coworkers about it,
yeah.
right? So it's like, and now is that like before the meeting, after the meeting?
Yeah, I would say both.
Yeah, okay. So
Um,
before the meeting, it's like, oh God, another meeting with this guy.
yeah.
What's he gonna do today? Like that?
Yeah, it's like, all right, let's come in with like a strategy of how to approach sharing this information or asking these questions. And then it feels like even though we go through this, all right, let's think about these things before we have this discussion, there's always some wrench or variable that gets thrown in that just kind of is blindsiding. And then after, the meeting, like I won't say this is 100% like the scenario, but I would say it's more often than not. You get out of the meeting and you're like, what the heck just happened? Or what did we even accomplish? What do I do now? I have more questions than I have clarity.
Yes. Okay.
And
So
it's
I
like,
think I
I don't
got
want to
the
go back
world
and
of
ask the
it.
questions. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I got the world of it. And by the way, everyone, the work Dylan's doing here is brilliant because it's getting real clear of like, well, we strategize. We come up with uh, a line of approach so that we can, is it fair to say, so that like we get what we want out of this meeting?
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And then the guy asks a question, finds what's wrong, picks it apart. Like, is that kind of you said throw a wrench, but I'm looking
Yeah,
for,
so yeah, I can give a little bit more specific examples. So like I was leading like a Kaizen event really recently where, in this instance, this person like developed the scope for this event.
yeah,
And I followed it to the T, but there was like something that was conflicting hidden in like a graphic within this charter that was just not complementary to the work. Like it would add no value. And it was small, like obscured in a graphic, like I said, so I didn't see it. I brought it up to that person. They said like, yep, this has to be done. Then I like worked with the team that I was working with that day and said like, hey, we got to do this thing. My team was like, that's out of scope. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't align with our goals. And it just kind of put me out in front of my team and made me look really silly, even though I had pushed back on this person and said like, no, this doesn't make sense. Then
okay.
the team was like, no. And then she was still in the room. And so she was like, what's the issue? Then the team explained it and she was like, oh yeah, we don't need to worry about that. So it just was like one of those things where I was like, what the heck? So that's like a perfect example. And that's like one example I can think of where.
Okay. And you've got one person who kind of leads that charge.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then after the meeting, there's talk about like, oh God, what happened? You know?
Well, yeah. And then there's like situations where where in the past, not this specific one, in the past.
Hey, Dylan, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I think we got the world of it.
Sure.
And you can kind of see the pattern, right? Yep. And I just want to check in. Is everyone else getting clear on like, I can see a pattern with me where I'm at, where it's like, yep, there's these things that happen and it kind of keeps happening. And maybe it's not the same topic, but it kind of follows the same arc. And then I have the same experience and things aren't moving in the direction I want. Okay.
And I want to make a connection point here because most everybody on here is either process improvement or process improvement minded. And hopefully what you see and hear Scott doing, he's interrogating the situation, the behavior. There's a repeatable pattern that's not working for Dylan, right? It's the same as when we see a repeatable pattern in a process that we say, hey, we've got to fix this repeatable pattern. It's the same thing in behaviors in human relationship situations. And what Scott's doing, I believe very well, is he's not interrogating Dylan. He's interrogating the behavior that we want to try to understand, the situation, because when he does that, he's going to start to get the things that we can affect and change. And I don't want to steal your thunder, Scott, but I do think that connection between what we do in the process space, which by the way is largely people, right, and what Scott does in the behavioral psychology space, man, they are so linked and so important for us to get on the process side. So I'm sorry, I'll shut up now, but I just think that's awesome. A really important connection.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. This stuff scales, right? Yeah, you could do a little process improvement on yourself. Cool. Dylan, come back. Because all right, we're kind of, and by the way, we're kind of doing the work of the next slide here, but this is perfect. So Dylan, say something because you're whatever you're hidden away on my screen.
Oh, yeah.
So I need you to talk so I can see you again.
Yep.
Okay. So now my next question for you is, if this were completely resolved, and everyone just ask this for yourself, like if this were completely resolved, like you went into a meeting, the meeting went awesome, what would that provide?
Yeah, good question. I think for me, it's mostly like confidence in knowing that, like I know how to rock that kind of stuff. I have no doubt, but like when those scenarios come up, it casts a shadow of doubt in my mind. And then
yeah, great. Now I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
Okay. And everyone just keep iterating, like, take whatever you came up with. So we're going to look like, okay, so like one thing that would be present would be confidence. So we're kind of moving the direction of the things you want, right? Because you'd like more confidence. What we want to do is draw attention from the stuff you don't want. Okay. So you also brought in something you don't want. I'm forgetting exactly what it was, but it was like I wouldn't be so.
Oh, yeah. So I was just gonna say like having autonomy to do good work.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So like
trust.
let's look like what's present now is like I'm confident, I've got my autonomy, I'm free to do good work, and the team trusts me, then what does that make available? Another way of saying that is like, what does that provide?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just accelerates my ability to help my business partners create meaningful improvement and progress. If I'm confident in my abilities to guide them and lead them and coach them and given the autonomy to do the work with them, and have trust from not just one leader above me, but all the leaders above me,
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
to improve, help improve. Yep.
Awesome. Now we're actually not going to do, but the first thing you said was like meaningful change. Like we can really create meaningful change. And the other thing I just heard, I'm going to distill it down, is like teamwork and partnership towards meaningful change, right? So now, and that, when you look at that, that looks pretty awesome. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. One thing I want to leave you guys with is the exercise we're not going to do is that last bullet point is to actually picture yourself 6 months or a year out with that present and really imagine vividly like who's there, what you're working on, the mood, the like, and picture it, like the rooms you work in and the offices and all of it, and take a moment to really connect with it. And here's why: there's just really great data that will have you stick to a plan. Like when you actually connect with what you care about, you're way more likely to follow through. Okay. They call it I always forget the name. Episodic future thinking. Yeah. So that's it. So these questions, again, in the slides, check the box. I want the slides. Here's a little worksheet. And you just got to look for yourself and ask yourself these questions. Am I lightening up? Am I getting present to like, oh yeah, like that would be great. Versus I'd be less stressed. Okay, well, like if you had less stress, well, what would be in its place? Like, oh, confidence, teamwork, partnership. Awesome. Cool. You willing to keep working with us here, Dylan?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So there's pieces to what we're doing, which is habit reversal. And mostly habit reversal, the research on it is around things like nervous tics, eating, like things that anyone can see. But you can actually also do it with thought patterns. All right. So you just did the first piece, which is to vividly recall the situation, but we're going to do a little more work on that here. So you want to look at what happens in the environment that triggers thinking and feeling. And Dylan, I think it's safe to say, you correct me, but one thing that triggers thinking and feeling with you is like, oh, I wasn't prepared for this, or oh, everyone's ganging up on me, or anything else about that.
Yeah, I would say it's just when I know that when I personally feel prepared based on the information that I had prior to a meeting or a project or whatever, and then some like random thing gets thrown into the mix, that kind of contradicts that plan or that purpose. That's what's like, makes me see red, to say the least.
Yeah, awesome. Now, then, but let's get real specific about that. So you said, I see red, because you actually want to look, okay, what happens? But then there's the feelings.
Yeah.
So you see red. What else about the red? Like, what is it? And really look, like, is it in your head? Is it in your chest? Is it, like, do you actually see red?
Well, I don't actually see red. That was more of like a
I imagine someone actually does that. That's where it came
Yeah,
from,
probably.
right?
I would say that I definitely like I feel like uh tightness in my chest, my hands clench, my teeth like I sometimes I'll grind my teeth. Um and I like the immediate thought in my head is, are you effing kidding me? That's like the first thing that I
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
yeah.
And again, I so appreciate your willingness just to get
Yeah.
up here on the mat, because it's making a difference for people. Great. And you kind of answered like what thinking and feeling does that lead to? So it's like immediately I see red, like my hands will get tight. I feel it's like tightness clench in like my body.
Yeah.
Maybe your vision changes. It probably actually does. And then there's the thought, kidding me? Right. And then what action do you do out here in reaction to that?
What action? What do you mean by that? Like, how do I physically react?
Like, what do you say? What do you do? What would people, if I'm sitting here in this meeting watching this happen, what will I see?
Yeah. So I think it depends on the situation. If I'm around business partners, I think I'm definitely more composed and diplomatic. But if it's like behind a closed door, like with these people that are on my team, like specifically this person, the reaction can range depending on how mad it makes me. I feel like I've gotten better, but typically, my first response is like a deep breath and or if I'm like trying to slowly roll into being providing another diplomatic but still direct answer to not break that trust with that person. And sometimes if it's really egregious, I'll immediately be like, no. And I'm like my tone is very serious and very direct. And I'll be like, no, and this is why. Which usually is not very well received.
Yeah. Okay, good. So you've got a few different patterns you can see. I'm guessing when you're composed, it's try to like address, like talk them into what you see. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, it's usually I phrase it like well, what if we thought about it this way? Or well, does this connect to whatever? So like it's me like reaffirming the question to kind of, especially if I think it's like not value add, to like back out of it if I feel like it's not value add and just be like,
Yeah.
hold on a second, let's think about this in terms of X, Y, and Z.
Okay, great. So it's acknowledge the question, then speak to it.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Okay. And then if you've got like more freedom, it might range from that to F you, shut this down.
Yeah, yeah. If it's
Without
like
the F you, right?
right. Yeah. If it's something really ridiculous, it'll be like, no, and this is why.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I'm like unwilling to negotiate on it because I usually feel so strongly that I'm right. So
Great. So awesome. So you've just done the awareness training. Like you can see the pattern.
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now your practice will be to then start to notice like, oh, whoa, just saw red. All right. Just felt my teeth clench. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, you do this exercise, get this particular with it. It's like, yeah, I clench my teeth. I see red. The more you can tune in to what's going on, the more likely one of those things, like the clenched jaw, the tightness, the like punching up my hands, the thought, are you kidding me? The more likely that you'll catch one of those, and that will lead to an incompatible response. Okay. So there's a couple things. There's a thought pattern you could think that would be inconsistent with and interrupt that usual pattern of thinking, and it will take a little effort. Make it what I recommend you do with that first thought pattern is make it kind of positively reinforcing and celebrate catching the pattern. So is there something you see? I'm looking at time. I'm going to offer you some stuff. Okay. And you can then take what I offer and go build with it. Here's something you could do, Dylan, that would be incompatible with, are you effing kidding me? Okay. Like, oh my God, lucky me. I get to practice habit reversal.
Yeah.
Awesome. And maybe you don't go awesome, but maybe in your head you throw a little confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. I think lately what I've been trying to do to like, because I read a little bit about the theory of like breaking the chain between like hearing, thinking, and reacting is like
Yes.
if as soon as I identify something that's like got me real hot, whether it's like at home or at work, the first thing I think about when I identify it is like break the chain. And I just pause before I react. Or sometimes I think like, sweet, conflict management skills, like I get to lean into that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm starting to think about the right things.
Awesome. I'm going to give you a couple more things, okay?
All right.
So there's the first thing is just like learn to catch the patterns. And when you catch the patterns, instead of trying to fight it, like, oh, don't, because probably for those situations that don't work for you, what shows up is a lot of don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, right? And just say, oh, cool, I caught the pattern. Awesome. Go me. Silently, if clenching your fist is the thing, maybe you give yourself a little snaps. Okay.
Yeah.
Tap your hand on your leg like it's a little applause, but something that, and ahead of time say like, this means applause, so that it actually is for you in the moment, like a little celebration.
Sure.
Right. And then I want you to look at an action you can take out here that works against the usual patterns and moves towards your caring and commitment. So you talked about being confident, like, solving problems and implementing solutions that make a real difference, and that sense of teamwork, right?
Right.
So what's an action you could take that would work against that pattern of, like, all right, I'm going to like, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to reflect, and then I'm going to try to talk them in, or I'm going to shut things down.
Yeah. Maybe in that moment that I outlined for you with like the team being like, no, that's out of scope. And I just kind of like gave the, hey, we need to do this because I was given the direction instead of saying like, hey, we need to do this. Being like to kind of flip it is ask the team like, hey, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Does this add value? So then they could hear,
Brilliant.
this person could hear directly from them like, no, this doesn't make sense. And then I wouldn't have to, go step out of the room and chew all my fingernails off,
Yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. I'm going to offer you one extra thing.
Okay.
Which is to a really incompatible response is to really check in. And maybe you're already doing this, but I recommend slowing it down a little bit. Is let me check and make sure I fully understood what you heard. And then repeat back exactly as close as you can what he said.
Okay.
Okay. And then from there, I think your incompatible response is brilliant. Ask a question.
Okay.
Ask a question. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be your team. It could be towards your commitment of like teamwork.
Yeah.
Ask that person, like, okay, so I get your concern. How can we make this work with your concern? Or, well, like, let's keep walking that out. You see, there's a problem. Well, what happens if we don't address this? Or what do you think is a way we could address this?
Sure.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. All right, we got 1 minute left. Matt, jump in here.
Sure. Yeah, there's a ton of things going through my mind, and so let me see if I can just summarize a couple of them. One is you saw Scott practicing or delivering the behavior, I guess, that he was coaching Dylan on, which was slowing conversations down a little bit and checking assumptions and checking understanding. We don't do that enough, and that's what I believe gets us stuck in certain patterns, is because we're not checking for understanding. We're making assumptions, and then we're just kind of blowing through, assuming everybody's on board, assuming everyone, right? And no surprise, we end up in that same habit, that same bad behavior. So I think that hopefully you were all paying close attention to that. I guess the other thing, and Dylan, you seem to already get this, and maybe everyone else does too, but I still just want to say it. You know, it's not about fixing the situation. Dylan can't change that individual's behavior. He can't change their role in the company. He can't change any of that. What he can do is change how he reacts to it and how he behaves in it, and set himself up to be as, efficient and effective as possible. And so that's what I heard. That's what I heard Scott coaching him on was, okay, this affects your confidence. Well, that's a problem. Like, let's not allow that situation to affect your confidence. How do I break certain behaviors that are occurring in this situation that I can't control the situation, but I can control how it's affecting my headspace, and so that I'm more confident. I think that's those are hopefully takeaways that you all have. I'll pause. Any last questions, comments, or adds anyone wants to make to that?
I have a comment. Can I make a comment?
Please.
Confidence. We're mistaken about confidence. People think it's like a feeling, or like it's something here. It's actually just action. The root of the word means to act with fidelity, like confidelity, with fidelity, right? So when you go out to practice this, Nelson, it's going to feel weird. Like, if you're looking for what's in here, you're not going to feel confident. It'll be a new behavior. New behaviors feel weird. Mm-hmm. The confidence will be in, like, recognize the feel, let the feelings be there. Yeah. And then take the pause, do the reflection. By the way, the reflection is to check for understanding, but a nice piece about it is it also gives you a chance to, like, pause and let that redness pass. Yeah. So there's a lot. So, like, do the reflection, and then take the action and like wait and see what happens. And that's where you'll find the confidence.
Sure. Awesome.
Dylan, was this helpful?
Yeah. Dylan, I'm sorry, I called you Nelson.
No, it's some people call me by my last name, so no worries. But
oh, that's why I was calling you Nelson. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, some people call me by my last name, so all good. No, this was like abundantly helpful, and I hope it was helpful for everybody else for me to be brave and share my scenarios. So
a round of applause for Dylan here, because I said Scott was going to go deep. He did. And
Matt, can I say something that is in my mind?
Please,
it's biting my tongue right now. I don't usually speak, as you know.
Speak.
But I just want to give kudos to Dylan. I mean, this is something, hard to talk about. We are dealing with emotional intelligence in here. You cannot change, like Matt said, somebody else's behavior. Yeah. But there are some tools hidden in there also that I think Scott covers. But I mean, I look at face acting. I look in a meeting, I look at how faces of people reacting to the conversation. That's feedback for you to react. And also it's a check for yourself to make sure your expression doesn't show your emotion. To de-escalate, friction. Yes. And I think it's affecting your team cohesion and your confidence, like you said it. So yeah, this is really good, and I'm glad you spoke about this issue, because in continuous improvement, we talk about behavior and changing behavior, I think, but not about emotional intelligence. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
I agree, Modesto. We don't talk about it enough, and that's why, Scott, you are always welcome to come on and help us with these things on these in our monthly sessions. So thank you to Scott. Thank you, everybody. We will be back in October. I hope to see you all. Have a great rest of September, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
See you guys.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Bye.